Hey guys, it's Tila with Every Tuesday, and this week we're getting ready for the new year with a Floral Bouquet Calendar. But not just any calendar. This is a stackable calendar that is a nice full bouquet at the beginning of the year and thins out as the year progresses. There'll be two parts to making this project. In the first part, we'll plan out our calendar by using Procreate. This will allow us to move and manipulate different elements to get a balanced bouquet filled with 12 elements. We'll stay in Procreate to digitally paint those elements in a semi-realistic acrylic paint style, and then we'll export our final file to make it real. Once the bouquet design is finished, we'll use xTool's M1 Ultra to print out our Procreate artwork, number each month with a drawing pen, and then cut each month out. We'll be able to process each month one by one with all three functions seamlessly moving between each to make everything as efficient as possible. Once all of our months are finished, we'll laser cut our calendar stand from basswood, also using the M1 Ultra, so we can properly display our completed floral bouquet calendar anywhere we'd like. Special thanks to xTool for sponsoring this video. First, we're going to hop into Procreate so we can create our bouquet. And since our bouquet has 12 different elements, it will help if we just create the entire balanced bouquet first, and then we'll break it up into the 12 different months. I'm using my Bouquet Maker brush set to speed this part along, since I can test different florals and foliage elements together by just stamping them in on different layers and repositioning. I'm using a mason jar for my base, and I'll have the M1 Ultra write the months and dates on it later on. Once I have a bouquet I like, I'll get to painting each element. For this, I'm using my acrylic lover's brush set for the painting and the smudging. I'm also using a photo of a bouquet I found on Pinterest to pull colors from since I love the palette that it had. To paint the elements, I typically work in two stages. First, I'll paint a base layer in a flat color using my streaky paintbrush. Then I'll create a new layer right above the base layer and change the blend mode to multiply. I'll use the same base layer color and brush to add in shadow areas and line details within the petals and the leaves. I'll switch to a smudge brush that is also the streaky paintbrush and push and pull the color around to give it some extra realism. This is my favorite way to add realism. It only takes 2 layers and it goes super quickly. Even if you're new to digital painting, adding just a few lines here and there, then smudging them out can give you some pretty amazing results. I'll add a 3rd layer above everything I've done to add in stamen details for the florals, and then I'm on to the next element. I'm staying organized as I work, keeping each element within its own month's folder. Now that the painting's finished, I'll export the artwork as a PSD file and send it over to my desktop. I opened that PSD file up in Photoshop and saved each month as a bitmap file. So now it's time to bring all the files into xTool software so we can make our calendar using the M1 Ultra. I'll first add the month's bitmap file, then I'll add the die cut file so we can cut each month out. The dates file is the last one to add, which we'll use the drawing pen with. I need to tell the M1 Ultra that I'll be performing multiple functions for this calendar, so I'll choose multi-module processing from the menu. With the image selected in the Layers palette, I'll change the module to Ink module and increase my intensity up to 100%. I'll select my die cut layer next, choose the fine point blade as the module, and change the cut pressure to 450 since watercolor paper is so thick, and I'll cut at a slower speed so it'll be able to cut all the way through. The last setting will be for our dates, so I'll change the module to drawing pen, choose color filling so I don't get a bunch of outline text, and then I'll use a pen pressure of 40 and a speed of 300. I've actually found that the pen is very accurate, even at quicker speeds. We've got our settings for January all complete, so we just need to prep the machine so we can process it. I'll lay down the cutting mat first, which is sticky on both sides so it stays put within the machine, and then I can stick my watercolor paper right on top. This thick watercolor paper will make the calendar nice and sturdy and give it a higher quality feel. We've got to hook up the ink module next, so I'll slide it into place and plug it in. The M1 Ultra will print the design and then add the dates, so I also need to snap my drawing pen in so it can go directly from one function straight to the next. I'll hit process and watch it print. The design is all printed and the dates are added, so now it just needs to get cut out. I'll take the drawing pen out and replace it with the fine point blade, close it back up, hit process, and watch it go. I'll continue the same process of printing, adding dates, and cutting for each month until I have all 12 completed. I've got all of my months finished, but we need to be able to display them. Since you can also laser cut, score, and engrave using the M1 Ultra, I'll add in the laser module and the prism tray, then place in some basswood that I painted with white acrylic paint to create our little calendar stand.
The trees will bloom and ice will melt. We'll always remember how it felt.
So I love how these months came out, but they're definitely missing something. So I'm going to add a little bit of shine using Posca markers, and I love using the gold and the silver. And I'll add in just a few little details to the flower stamens. The M1 Ultra does have a foil embossing capability, which I love to use, but unfortunately, watercolor paper just does not work well with foil. So this is the next best thing. The M1 Ultra truly is a one and done machine. I love that I could just focus on one machine and one software, and I could complete all the tasks that I needed to at once. And I was pretty impressed that I never ran out of ink at any point in time, and I had my color intensity all the way up to 100%. It was also a nice bonus that I could use a thick paper stock, like 140-pound watercolor paper, that you could definitely deal with some paper jams if you were on a traditional inkjet printer. And the M1 Ultra handled it without any issues. I could print on it, I could do the drawing pen, I could cut it out. I got to do all of my crafty tasks all in one go. If you'd like to learn more about the M1 Ultra, I'll leave a link right in the video description. And if you have any questions at all, just leave it in the comments area and I will do my best to help. Thanks so much for watching and Happy New Year.